Hello, I'm so happy to be here in a room full of people who agree with my ideas. It's such a great feeling to be here. I do want to say that in listening to this amazing slate of candidates, it's made me so thankful to live in a country where a biracial American woman can grow and become an English princess. And that's thanks to the ideas that are represented here today. So thank you all. My name is Genevieve Morgan. I'm pretty much a nobody, but I'm a writer, a mom, a wife, and a very proud Mainer. I'm also a passionate supporter of women's and children's rights, and I've spent more than my fair share of time these last 2 years in Senator Collins' office fighting for affordable access to health care for all. I'm still looking for Bruce Poliquin, so if any of you have seen him, please let me know. I have been fighting for health care for all of us in Maine for a while, as well as a women's right to choose. But the access to health care is particularly pertinent to me because I know I don't look like it, but I have a genetic life-threatening condition. And I am only able to be a creative and an entrepreneur living in this state because I have the freedom to buy health insurance through the ACA. Because of this, because he cares about people like me and my family and these issues, because I would like my kids to live in a future Maine where they can have real opportunities, a viable living wage, and still maintain a beautiful environment that we all care about, because he's committed to protecting our natural resources and building a new economy, bringing new sustainable business to Maine. I am so proud and so thrilled to introduce to you the next governor of our great state of Maine, Adam Cote.
Hold it now. Oh! Come on, come on.
All right. Thank you, Genevieve. And hello, fellow Democrats. I'm batting cleanup tonight. All right. And Genevieve, you are about as far as you come from a nobody. Thank you for that kind introduction, and thank you for organizing the Maine's Women's March, as you have, and done so much for the state of Maine to excite and energize people. Thank you. You know, I was sitting back there, and I got to say, I'm proud to be one of 7 strong candidates that we have running for governor in this state, including 4 very accomplished and strong women, I might add. Very proud to be a part of this group. And before we go too far, I think and I really hope that when you leave here tonight, you've got to say one of us has to win this thing, because we absolutely have to. I'll tell you, there's a huge difference between us and the Republicans on so many important issues, but Genevieve talked about some of them. Women, families, children absolutely need a strong leader in the Blaine House. My wife Paulina and I decided to get into this race. We talked about it for about a year without telling anybody, because the future that we wanted to build for our 5 kids and for all the Maine kids. So right up front, here are my commitments. I'll always support a woman's right to make her own health and reproductive decisions. I will always back and support policies such as paid family and medical leave. I will always work to push to see that women and men receive equal pay for equal work. Spent 20 years in the military. Everybody gets paid the same, right? And then you get out in the civilian sector and it's all different. Doesn't make sense at all. I will always work and push to see that every Mainer has access to quality, affordable health care and that our public schools are funded. Just getting started. But I can't believe that every Republican running for governor has said that they want to give us more of the same. We've heard it. All of us have been in forums with the Republicans, and they're all saying they want more of the same. I declared April 19th of last year, I've had over 550 campaign events to every corner of this state. I think it's very clear throughout this state, and especially in this convention, that we have one message for the Republicans heading into 2018. Maine deserves better. After 8 years of being last in New England, one of the last in the country on jobs, income, and economic growth, Maine deserves better. After 8 years of mismanaging and mishandling our healthcare system, especially our public healthcare system for children and for the elderly, Maine deserves better. After 8 years where public education was such a low priority, our teachers were told they're a dime a dozen and we had 8 education commissioners, Maine deserves better. And at a time in the country when childhood hunger is going down, it's going up in Maine. Maine deserves better. My dad's here today. Some of you probably met him. He was handing out lots of stickers. I don't think he's worked so hard since Ted Kennedy ran for president in 1980. But I'm the proud grandson of Franco-American immigrants. My family came down from Sherbrooke, 16 brothers and sisters on my Pepe's side, 11 on my Meme's side. We feel pretty good about winning this race if we get them all to vote. But I'm also the husband to a first-generation American. Pauline is from Colombia. We have a great history in this state of welcoming people. It makes us stronger. It helps us grow. We have the oldest population in the country and a stagnant population, and we say people are from away. We've got to get over that. We've got to stop scapegoating. And we've got to stop demeaning new Mainers, because Maine deserves better. And I was born and raised in Sanford. We still live there, rural area, former mill town. And after 8 years in which rural Mainers have been hit the hardest by slow growth and higher property taxes, Maine deserves better. My campaign is about rejecting the status quo. This campaign needs to get beyond thinking about the past. This election needs to be about how we are going to build Maine's future. And here's how I will build bold, progressive economic growth and an economy that works for all Mainers in every part of our state. We can start by believing in science. All right? It's amazing how basic we have to start out with things. Build it up, right? Really, I look at the state of Maine, and we can be leaders, global leaders, on sustainability, resilience, and clean energy, agriculture, aquaculture, farming. You look at businesses throughout the state right now, we have an old population, we have an old workforce, except in 2 places, 2 businesses or 2 sectors that I visit in particular, agriculture and renewable energy. I ought to tell you something, right? You want to attract young people to Maine? You want to grow this state? Start focusing on our competitive advantages. Start recognizing we have a beautiful place on this planet and sustainably produced power, agriculture, aquaculture, adding value to our businesses along that. Young people will be here. They will love it here. They will raise families here. Guns. Yeah, tough issue. I was born and raised growing up hunting. My grandfather was a Maine guide. I own lots of guns, and I trained hundreds of soldiers on how to use them. I was an infantry officer, and in Iraq in particular, I was the one that was tasked to train a lot of people. So I feel confident in saying I know more about firearms than anybody running for office right now. But I also have 5 kids doing active shooter drills in schools. I would be a leader on this issue from day one. We can bring people together. We can respect our hunting heritage without allowing people to have the same firepower that I had in Iraq or Afghanistan. We can do that. Thank you. We're going to stop scapegoating state employees, new Mainers, members of the LGBTQ community. Sorry. Acronyms. And have a positive, inclusive governor. Positive, inclusive governor. I'm going to champion Maine as a place where all people, innovators, entrepreneurs are welcomed, no matter where they're from, no matter how they worship, what color they are, or who they love. Again, we're going to stop being miserable to Maine, the first Mainers, our native tribes. The tribes are sovereign. There's no debate about that. I will stand with them on clean water and sustenance fishing rights. I will stand with them on their ability to prosecute domestic violence abusers like every other tribe in the country has the right to do. They will have a seat at the table and be a partner in the Blaine House when I am governor. We're going to stop attacking working people and unions and invest in workforce training. It's harder to find a plumber, electrician, a finished carpenter, or a mason in this state than it is a lawyer. It's just a fact. Shouldn't have spent so much time in law school. Wasted. But we got to start focusing on our people, start investing in human capital. It's every single business that I've been to, every union that I've sat down with, I've talked with them. It's recruiting, retention, attrition management, finding, training good people. That's what it's all about. That's how we're going to grow. I'm proud to have the endorsement of the Maine State Council of Machinists, and I was proud to work with them on this workforce training plan that we came up with. And if we win this race, we're going to do it for everybody throughout this entire state. Every business, every union, every person, put them back to work. So we got to stop making teachers and local communities crazy by underfunding our schools. I served on the school committee in Sanford. We have a very lower income community. About 70% of our kids in most of our schools are on free and reduced lunch. And the governor cut revenue sharing. We lost about $1 million out of our budget. And we had to sit down and decide what we were going to do. We couldn't hire replacement teachers. We couldn't give training to our educators when unfunded mandates like proficiency-based learning was coming down. There was so much that we could not do, and we still had to go back to the city and ask for more funding. As governor, I will restore revenue sharing. I'll meet the 55% funding requirement, stop dropping unfunded mandates with no support in local schools, and support our public teachers. We will invest in infrastructure, roads, bridges, high-speed broadband, and we're going to stop hanging out in Augusta and having fights and suing each other and start spending more time in communities where we're talking to people and we help them get ahead. Because we got to demonstrate. In the Democratic Party, we've got to demonstrate we know how to govern and we know how to lead. Because we can't accept the future with any less. And the bottom line is we got to win this one. We got to win this one. I'll tell you, I know for a fact, we've heard several times the conservative radio guy, Ray Richardson, sort of the Rush Limbaugh Maine radio, and Governor LePage have both commented, and they have said that I present the greatest threat to the Republicans winning in 2018. I agree with them. The broadest leadership experience on the local level, the statewide level. I've worked in policies that are very important to this state, particularly clean energy. I've had 3 combat tours. They're not going to be able to play games with me. We're going to win this one. We've got to win this one. Because here's the bottom line. The excitement and the energy that Genevieve brought and others brought, starting the Women's March, the Indivisible groups, the Moms Demand Action, all of these groups, the town and county committees that we've been going to as candidates, 450 people showed up in Bath, 450. We've got to excite, energize, and electrify the Democratic Party because we've got to win this one. We absolutely have to win this one. I would ask for your support on June 12th. I would be honored to have it, and I tell you, if I'm the nominee, we're going to win. We will win it, and we will show that we know how to govern. So I want to thank you. Now it's on to June 12th, and let's win in November. Thank you very much.